Hey Raiders, Jacko here with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today I wanted to take some time, it's probably going to be a good amount of time, to go into pretty much all of the aspects of Raid Shadow Legends as a beginner's guide, a kind of tutorial of what you'll find and within the game and tips and tricks on each of them. At the same time, I'm going to kind of show you the state of my game, so you know where I'm coming from as a player. It's going to be pretty early game still, since I'm only a little over 60 days, but I do have some tips and thoughts to help you out. So as we start off here, we are in the Bastion. The Bastion has all kinds of different places that open up at different times. Now, you're going to use all of these places rather regularly. So let's go into each one in turn. Let's start off with the tavern here. So the tavern is going to be where you can do a lot of upgrading on your heroes. You can upgrade the level, of course, and this can be done either by, sacrificing other heroes, or more commonly, you'll come down and you'll use these brews that you get as rewards for all kinds of things. The brews, if you affinity match them with who you're leveling up, is going to give you a lot of experience points. You're going to spend a lot of time here as you're going to have to level up a lot of food to get your characters up to 6 stars. Which brings us to the upgrade ranks. In the upgrade ranks, you're going to get your hero who's already at full level 50 for a 5-star, and you're going to sacrifice other level 5 stars, 5 of them in fact, to get this hero up to level 6 stars. I obviously don't have enough to do that at the moment, so at least not for a 5-star. Well, that's going to be how you rank up their stars. Upgrade skills is how you're going to... Oh, Cold Heart's a bad example. Let's try... Yes, Battle Sage. So, she's got level 1 skills here. If we click on them, we can see that as they level up, they do different things. So, this is going to be where you level up the skills, and you're going to be using tomes for that. Now, tomes are a very valuable resource in this game. I really don't have enough. I'm hard-pressed deciding which rare I want to use my rare tomes on at this point to level up their skills, because they come so infrequently. Now, you can get them out of clan boss chests, both rares, epics, and legendary books. But the rate is rather low, to be honest. So, take that as it is. But as a free-to-play player, be careful. Really put some research into the champions you're looking at, getting up there, and how they will affect your overall progression in the game before you decide to book them. And also, take a look at whether or not they need books to perform their job or not. Maybe they will perform their job even better with books, but some of them don't need books to perform their job. A good example of this is Doom Priest. So, Doom Priest has increased damage on her A1 when you level it up. She's got a cooldown reduction on her increased attack buff for allies. But she has nothing that needs skill books on her passive, which is where all her utility is coming from. So take that into account when you're going into whether or not you're going to book a champion, because books really are rare. Finally, we've got the Ascend. This is where you turn those yellow stars into purple stars, and they take potions, which you'll get in the dungeon area of the potions. You also got this, or the potion keeps. You've also got this potion mixer, which, takes 10 of one type of potion and turns it into another type for some silver. Easy peasy, helps you ascend people. Nothing too special there. And that's your tavern, your primary place that you're going to spend a lot of time leveling up and upgrading champions, mostly food champions, so that you can upgrade your big ones. Next point here is Great Hall. So the Great Hall has several different attributes that as you level up, you get more and more of those attributes. And these attributes apply to every single one of your champions. So it's very valuable to start leveling these up. The primary two that I would suggest leveling up is accuracy and defense. It's your choice whether or not you want to do the defense first or the accuracy first. I'm going accuracy because I think it gives me some more freedom in how I equip the rest of my champions. But defense is very good because that's going to just make it easier for you to survive and therefore progress. Now, I do have some points in attack, and that's specifically for one of the challenges quests to get your Arbiter down the line. And we'll take a look at those a little bit later. Now, these take metals. Copper metals, silver metals, and gold metals. And those come from PvP. So, you're going to want to go into the arena and farm metals as much as you can. And when we get to the arena, I'll tell you a good strategy to do that. Next up, we've got the summoning portal. Pretty easy. Mystery shards, ancient shards, void shards, sacred shards. Always wait for a 2-time event summon. It's going to make the paltry percentages we've got here of 8% and 0.5%. It's going to double those. You're going to get more epics. And if you're lucky, more legendaries down the line. You also have fusions here. Keep an eye out as you're going through the campaign. You can actually farm all of the rares on this fusion. All of them. Except for this guy. Our Justicar, who is a void summon. So if you pull him, wonderful. You don't have to worry about these 4. If you don't pull him, then these 4 are pretty easy to get to then move on. I recommend that unless you need Justicar or you really need Relic Keeper here, who is the epic pull, that you actually save your fusion material champions for later down. And again, this is because of the quest line for the Arbiter. You've got the Forge in the center here. You'll get a lot of materials for Swift, Deflection, Resilience, and Perception from the Faction Wars. And you'll get materials for Affinity Breaker, Untouchable, Fatal, and Frostbite from Doom Tower, provided you can farm some of the bosses. Now, due to where I am in Doom Tower, I only have the Fatal set, which is a flat upgrade to attack set. So if you're using attack, Fatal is just a flat upgrade, great to go with. For me, the primary set here that I go for, I spend most of my materials on, is Perception. 40% accuracy and plus 5% speed. That is wonderful. It's an upgrade to the accuracy set and gives you a little speed, which is really nice as well. I use this extensively. The resilience set is nice as well. It can be a nice add-in on any of your other sets. It's 5% less HP than the health set, or 5% less HP than the defense set. But together you get a little bit more all told. So, a pretty decent set. I would love to get Swift Parry. I'm just not that high on being able to farm the materials on it. It's expensive. So, the Forge, a great place to get some sets that are a little bit upgraded from your normal sets. Down here, we've got the Marketplace. Pretty simple. You can buy people, you can buy mystery shards, all with silver. Now, when you first start out, you won't have all of these opened. It'll take gems or silver to open them up. I do suggest you open up at least some of them, as this is a great source of the uncommon champions you need for your food champions, as well as there occasionally you can get ancient shards out of here. Very nice. The mine. The mine is a gem, it's a gem mine. It's a gem producing factory. It's got 3 levels. Each level increases its capacity by a little bit, by 5 to be precise, and increases its production value. Now, the gem takes 1,500 gems to get all the way up, and will take about 100 days to pay itself off. So if you plan on playing the game long term, it's a great option. I would go ahead and go for it. Now the sparring pit, this is the option I would not necessarily go for. You put a champion in there, it levels up over time. I find that for me, the cost of the 300 gems to unlock it has not been overly useful for me. These champions level very slowly in my opinion. I mean, 16 to 17 is 2.5 hours, so you're looking at maybe a couple levels a day. That being the case, having one open to level that epic that you don't really care about, you're not trying to build, but would be nice to have it 40 just in case for faction war down the line, can be useful. A lot of people will suggest you open all 5 of them just like you open the gem mine, that it's a long-term investment sort of thing. I don't see it as much, but I'm not necessarily that far into the long term. Missions down here. This is a big part of your game. It's where you're going to be spending a lot of time looking to see what you need to do next. And the reason for that is getting Arbiter. Now there are 4 sets of missions. They're all 76, 75, 75, and 60 missions long, so it's going to take quite a bit of time. I'm in the second set here, and doing a dungeon mission. Win 5 greater void potions from stage 7 or higher of the Void Keep. So, that's pretty easy, but some of these, like this next arena mission, upgrade 2 Great Hall bonuses to level 4. This is why you want to start farming your arena, and therefore your Great Hall, drastically. Now, it's very possibly in this one. There it is. This is why you don't want to fuse Justicar immediately, is because there is a mission in here to fuse him. Now, I've heard a lot of conflicting information on whether or not having fused Justicar will this mission complete when you get there. Safe bet, you don't need Justicar, you don't need Relic Keeper, just wait until you get to this mission to do that. It's easy enough to do if you don't need those champions. If you do need them, go ahead and fuse them. You might have to do a little work when you get to this point to fuse them again, and that's a bit of a headache. As I said, in your next set, there'll be a fuse Relic Keeper. So, same thing for there. You've got your quests. Oh, and always the obligatory pop-ups. You've got your quests, daily, weekly, monthly, and advanced. I do recommend that you do as many of these as you can. Always complete all your daily quests because you get this energy refill, which is wonderful. The weekly quests, do them all. You get a couple energy refills in them, and you get this XP boost for 1 day. Really nice. Plus an ancient shard. That's not a bad thing. The monthlies, you get chunks of energy, which is great. You get a void shard and a sacred shard each month if you do them. So keep on top of your dailies. Just do them every day. They're not that hard. The advanced quests, some of these are hard. I mean, sometimes it's, instead of beat 1 faction war stage with at least 1 rare champion on your team, it's beat 1 faction wars boss. Now, faction wars is very difficult, and getting to the point where you're being able to fight and defeat a boss in each of the faction wars, that's going to be tough in all honesty. So sometimes you're not going to get all the way up there and be able to claim all of the rewards. But there are some arena tokens, energy, as well as tag team tokens that you can get in the advanced quests. So try to do them. Additionally, it's a source of getting some epic and some legendary tones. Plus a 5-star chicken. Not bad. And more XP boost. Very good. And then you've got the challenges. The challenges are a great way to get some resources. Each of them have different criterion, and when you complete all in a set here, you get the reward up here. Each of them also have their own reward, like the more you upgrade your champions, the better your chances of winning. Upgrade 4 champions to level 60 and beat a campaign location for 150 energy. So, good to keep on top of these when you can. I come at them in spurts and do like 5 or 6 of them at a time when I've got energy and I'm not working on other things. So, good. It was also a very good source of early rare books for me. And it's a good source of books in general. Now you've got your clan. It's pretty self-explanatory. Make sure when you go into your clan that you always go into the members section and check in. It gives you a star. That's great. Tournaments and events. When you're doing the other stuff in the game, keep an eye on tournaments events. When a champion training event comes up, that's when you're going to want to be leveling up all your food, ranking up all your food, ranking up your good champions to 60 when you can. Same with tournaments and things like that. Just keep an eye on them, as they do have pretty nice rewards. If we look at the events going on currently, and this screen always takes a long time to load, at least for me. Let's see if we can get into it in any nice little bit of time here. Looking at our watch. No. Slow. Here we go. Anytime now. Watching the little swirly thing. Sorry about this. But the events and the tournaments give some really nice rewards. We're looking at energy sometimes. We're looking at ancient shards. Sometimes void shards. They'll be an integral part of your fusion events. So like the winter fusion we just did for Pixnil, you'll be getting your rare and your legendary champions out of the events. So if we look at the artifact enhancement event here that just started up, we can take a look at that. So we've got some energy that'll come in here, some XP brews, some core hammers, which are really useful in the forge. But books. This is also one of your primary sources of rare, epic, and sometimes legendary tomes. Events and tournaments are important for you, so keep an eye on them, do them as you can. Well, let's go to the different parts of battle. So your campaign is where you're going to be spending a whole lot of your time. This is where you're going to be leveling your food champs. Now there are several difficulties here. Normal, you got to beat normal to go to hard. You got to be hard to go to brutal. You got to be brutal to go to nightmare. As you see, I have not done really anything in Nightmare campaign at this point, mostly because that energy cost is pretty extreme. It's 16 energy, and it gets harder on your way, whereas brutal is only 8 energy per fight. It comes up anytime, and gives you quite a bit of gold and experience. So what you're going to want to do in the campaign is fight your way up as far as you can on the difficulty you can with your main campaign farmer. When you get to a point where you can no longer beat a level with your campaign farmer, step back a little bit, find the level that you can beat consistently, and then put food into your set, into your fight. So if we click here, we would want to have our campaign farmer and then just a few food champions here. So just toss in a couple guys like that. So your campaign farmer does all your work. You're leveling up your food so that you can rank them up, so that you can level them up, so that you can rank them up, so that you can eventually rank up your higher level champions that you really want to use. Now, as you're going through, there are 2 locations that are really important to farm when you're farming gear. And that's going to be the Palace of Aravia here for your speed gear, and Valdemar Strait for your lifesteal gear. If you get stuck, say, a little bit later on in Godfrey's Crossing on hard, you can't get all the way to the top to get the best experience, farm one of these until you can. Another location that I used constantly was the Deadlands to do this. Not because of the gear, though Destroy is much more impactful now that you've got the Scarab boss and Doom Tower, but more because of Ward Maiden. She is a vital part to most any team as you're progressing through the early game and the mid game. And it's all because of this decreased defense. 100% chance when booked to decrease defense for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. This is a vital component to pretty much anybody's team for quite some time. And I'll show you that a little bit later. Now, when you can get to it, you're going to want to be farming either stage 12-3 or stage 12-6. The advantage of 12-3 is it's most of the experience and a little bit of extra gold. Not an exceptional amount of extra gold, but you're going to be farming it thousands of times. So it adds up over the long haul. 12-6 on the other hand, that's your best XP bar none. And you want to do it on brutal when you can. Nightmare, the energy expenditure is just way more than you want to do for the experience gain. Brutal is the place to do it. So when you get to 12-3 brutal and your campaign farmer can do it, or 12-6 brutal and your campaign farmer can do it, you're golden. That's where you're going to be spending a lot of your time. Plus, if you can get to the point where you 3-star them, you get some really nice rewards on each of the different levels. And Kai, my kitten, has just knocked stuff over, which is fine. It's in her nature. Let's go on to the dungeons. So the dungeons here, you've got your potion keeps. These will give you your potions for ascending. They are on a rotating open schedule, essentially, for the 4 affinities. The Arcane Keep has potions for the white potions, which are used in everyone's ascensions. So you'll get used to that keep. A little bit farther over, we've got Minotaur. Minotaur is where you're going to be farming scrolls to get your masteries done. Masteries are important, however, this slog is nuts. As you can see, I'm not quite to being able to beat stage 15, though I'm close. The amount of the amount of scrolls you need are insane. So your first 5 heroes that you end up mastering is going to take forever, to the point where I haven't even done it, to be honest. Now you can spend 800 gems to go ahead and max out your masteries on a character if you want. People have done the math. It turns out that you actually save a little bit of gems just by buying energy rather than buying the masteries outright. Ice Golem, your next 3 dungeons are all about the artifact drops. Ice Golem is, well, it's Ice Golem. You can get some nice sets like crit rate, which is really nice. Honestly, that's the one that I would be going for here. And in my game, I'm up to having bested level 14. Now, in these 4 artifact dungeons, there are some milestones you really want to push for. The first milestone is stage 13. And the reason for that is this is your first chance to move from getting 5-star gear up to getting 6-star gear. This is going to be really important. It's really going to boost your account. The next milestone is going to be stage 16, which I haven't actually gotten to. And that's because at stage 16, the green, your mystery shards are no longer going to drop. So you're going to get higher chances of getting the equipment you're actually looking for. So that's Ice Golem, up to 14. My Spider's Den is nowhere near as good. I am being able to pass level 9 on Spider's Den. It's a difficult dungeon, and there are plenty of guides out there on how to beat it. I will likely do one as I learn and get it better. But the importance of Spider is that it's the only place to get your rings, amulets, and banners as you level your champions up. Those are really nice pieces of equipment to help out on your journey in Raid Shadow Legends. This is also, because of the sell cost of these 3 types of items, your best place to make silver if you can farm it well. All of these sell for more than your regular equipment, so very useful there. As I said, for me, I am battling it out on stage 12, or stage 9 at this point, and using some of my more powerful champs. Decreased defense. I did have War Maiden in here until I got lucky and pulled Stag Knight. Cold Heart is wonderful for this. If you get any max HP damaging characters, Cold Heart, Royal Guard, Husk, really good for any of the bosses, really, unless there's a bad affinity matchup. At the point I am at, the name of the game for my Spider's team is trying to control turn meter. Keep the turn meter down so that I can do the damage before the Spider heals. That's where I'm getting stuck right now. So I'm working on leveling up an Armiger. For Ice Peak, it's really about being able to sustain and do the damage you need to over the course of it. Next up, we've got Dragon. Dragon is said to be the easiest. I don't find him too difficult. I'm on 14. Again, 13 and 16 are going to be your big milestone markers in Dragons. Well, until of course you get up to 20. The Dragons has some great sets. Accuracy, speed, lifesteal, just wonderful. All of those are going to be used a lot as you progress and level up. For Dragon, Poison is really useful on Dragon. So I run a Frozen Banshee with pretty much the rest of my group. Fire Knight and Spiders are by far the hardest in my opinion. I've got my Fire Knight up to stage 12 or stage 10. I can't read apparently. And Fire Knight has some great sets. It's got shield set, which is wonderful. Immunity set for when you're really trying to push a niche kind of group in arena. Stun set is amazing. Frenzy set got a boost lately. So all really good sets. I would love to be on stage 13 of Fire Knights. Now, the problem with Fire Knights is that every time he gets a turn, he puts up a large shield which has 10 hits and blocks you from really doing damage or putting debuffs on him. You got to get those 10 hits down before he takes another turn so you can actually do damage to him. So there are two keys to the Fire Knight fight that you want to look at. You want to look at people who have a lot of multi-hitters on their A1, like Coldheart, who has hits 4 times on her A1, and that's to get the shield down as fast as you can. When you get the shield down, you need people with turn meter manipulation, like Armiger, who's just not quite doing it for me on this level, but did on the previous levels. You want to get that turn meter down so that you can do damage. You can land those Heartseekers or anything else like that. So those are your two requirements for Fire Knights. Multi-hitters to get that shield down, and then turn meter manipulation to keep the shield down as long as possible to do your damage. As I said, I am stuck on stage 10, I believe. Yep, I was stuck on stage 10 because my Armiger is just not fast enough or good enough to keep that shield down. So that's where I am on that. Next up, we've got Faction Wars. Faction Wars is really simple. It's a matter of only using a team that fits the faction that you're in. So on the Sacred Order's Crypt, you can only use Sacred Order. On this, I am all over the place. Most of my groups I've been able to get up to that first boss, and those bosses, the first bosses in particular, are very difficult, at least for me. Each one has a different aspect to them, a different rotation of their skills and everything like that. And that's going to take some time to learn, as well as time to just get characters to level and gear to do it. Don't neglect it, though. I mean, even running a faction at level 1, if you can beat level 1, and using your 12 keys, 18 if you do the advanced quests, is useful not only to get glyph drops, which are really nice to boost your artifacts, but also to get the crafting equipment. This is where my perception equipment is coming from. It's just grinding these every day. It's a bit annoying, but sit at your TV with your phone next to you and just hit that button occasionally to replay until you're done. That's one of the hardest places of the game right now. Arena, you've got two types of arena. You've got tag team, which is worthwhile to do at least the 5 times a day for your advanced quest. Additionally, it opens up the bazaar, which is really nice. You can get a few things here if you want to use it per progression, or you can, once a day, buy a fragment of our little fragment fusion dude here. Drexthar? I think it's Drexthar. Yeah, Drexthar Blood Twin. Anyways, he's a good champion. It's going to take you forever. You can only buy one a day. It's at least 100 days if you can manage to make 360 gold bars to buy him every day and keep up on it. Useful. I don't put a lot of attention into it outside of those 5 runs each day, and you can see the results. I'm still in bronze 1, so. Arena, on the other hand, Arena is very important, and it's because of getting the medals, as well as there are a few of those Arbiter quest lines that are going to require you to get to a certain rank in Arena. Now, I fluctuate from about bronze 2 up to silver 4. And the reasoning for this is because of medal farming. So, in general, I'm going to be medal farming. Now, this at the current is my main team, both on offense and defense. It's a speed team. It's meant to go fast, to boost my speed and boost my attack, lower their defense, and then nuke them with Galek. So the two strategies are have a good defensive team to push as high in the ranks as you can, and keep yourself up there. The thing is that you're going to get to the highest point you can, and you're going to have a lot of trouble farming medals out of the people you're going against. Makes sense. You're not being able to push past them, so they're on an equivalent level as you are. The other thing, the other strategy, and why I'm down in Copper 2, or Bronze 2 currently, is to put almost nobody in your defense. So just maybe toss a Battle Sage in there. There we go. There's my defense. And let people beat you. That's going to drive your points down, put you in lower tiers. That way, when you're in lower tiers, you can just beat all the people in the tier and get your medals and fluctuate up, back up to the highest tier you can hit, and then go to sleep. Come back, you're at a low tier, you can do it again. It's a good way to farm up these medals. I am specifically looking for a lot of silver medals at this point, so I'm trying to keep myself between silver 1 and silver 4. Finding the balance on my defensive team is really difficult for that. Difficult currently for me on that. Clan boss? I would say that building a clan boss team is one of the most important things in the game for a newer player to kind of concentrate on. And the reason for that is if you get high enough in your clan boss teams, you're going to be looking at getting more Ancient, Void, and if you're really good, up to Sacred Shards. It's also a place where you can get your books, your tomes, for leveling people up. Hey, we've even got some to claim here. So I am working on hard currently. I am not max chesting it, sadly. I'll get there very soon. I just got Frozen Banshees to the point that she can get to 6 stars, and she'll make a great difference. So you get Cruel and Immortal gear as well out of this. Both really good sets in general. Oh, HP boots. Those are getting sold right away. But getting to the point where you can one key hard and you're in a group that is working on brutal, things like that, those are really going to help progress your account because you're going to be able to start pulling more champions, creating the teams that really synergize with each other to push forward. Doom Tower just started up again yesterday at the timing of this video, and I've gotten up to the Magma Dragon. So for the newer players, push in normal as hard as you can. If you can get the secret room, that's great. But what you really want to do is get up to at least one of the bosses. If you can get up to more of the bosses, even better. But once you get to the bosses using your silver keys, you can then go in and farm them using gold keys. And that's going to give you materials to create like that Fatal set we looked at in the Forge. So a good place to get essentially more gear and more money when you sell the bad gear that you just forged. And you've got 10 runs at it every day that are essentially free. They don't cost you energy or anything along those lines. So things for so that's all the locations currently in Raid Shadow Legends. Those are the important things to look for. So a few tips and tricks. One, if you're going to be playing a long time, get that gem mine up. Decide for yourself on the sparring pit whether or not you think it's worth it. For me, it has not been. So I'm not going to waste my gems there. Your number one task as a beginning character is going to be going through campaign as far as you can so that you can get your first farming champion, very likely your starting champion, unless you pull someone extremely good at farming like Felhound, up to level 60, 6 star 60. That's going to speed up your where you can farm in the campaign and how fast you can do it exponentially. And that's going to allow you to get more champions to 6 stars. So that's number one. Number two is work on your clan boss team. Your clan boss team can generally be used in the dungeons as well to decent effect. Definitely in dragons, they share a lot of the same weaknesses essentially as clan boss. So try and get your clan boss as high as you can. Generally, you're going to want to be putting your characters, your champions, in lifesteal gear for that reason. The longer you survive in clan boss, the more damage you do, the higher level chest you can have, you get at the end of the day, and you get that every day, by the way, that chest. And progressing to harder clan bosses. It's a great system, and your team will be able to help you well in dragons and going on from there. Things to keep yourself doing even when you're focusing on those other aspects is arena and faction wars. Might as well do them The resources are there. That doesn't take too much time, especially if you're just metal farming, but you're going to want to keep up on that. You don't want to, a couple months down the line, look at it and be like, oh, I didn't do any arena farming, and now I've got an Arbiter quest that needs me to be in Silver 1 and upgrade my Great Hall. That's going to just be annoying. You're going to have to grind a lot, and it's going to take quite a bit of time that you could have done from the start. So those are your 4 main points to start with. In terms of gear, lifesteal is your primary way to go, followed by speed. Those are going to be your bread and butter artifact sets until you get farther on in the game. Now, that's a lot of information, and I'm absolutely certain that I missed some tips and tricks that I've learned along the way. As such, as I go through the rest of my guides on champions and different aspects of the game, if I remember some of those tips and tricks, I will let you know. So stay tuned, follow the content for that, and we'll all get to the point where we're endgame players together. Since part of my channel is about the aesthetics of champions, we're going to go ahead and pick a random champion. It's going to be an Undead Hordes today. Let's go ahead and grab the newest overpowered champion, or extremely powered champion, just to go over their aesthetics for you. Necrit the Great. Necrit the Great is a fearsome champion. You can look at guides on his kit. Suffice it to say, he's got great ally protect and ally attack, essentially. So he teams up with other allies to go and attack. Armor-wise, we'll start at his feet. He's got nice, well-done greaves that come up above his knees, so he's got some knee protection there. However, they are way low, and he is not going to be able to use any flexibility in his ankle. So, he's stationary. Maybe he was built to be stationary like that, but it's going to be painful for him. Move up a little bit, we've got a drape here. The drape covers the vital organs. He's undead. Organs probably aren't vital, but anyways. Nice drape, very, I'd say Roman-esque in flavor. Not the skulls, but the drape with the cloth pieces in them as well. Very nice. No upper leg or hip protection, so that's going to get a bit painful. On the vambraces, they are solid. The points cover the elbow a little bit. Not as much as I personally would like, but it's his choice. No gauntlets. He's really going to hurt when someone's blade slides down his pole arm and takes off his fingers, provided our Necrit here feels pain. Pauldrons. The pauldrons are actually really good. They're not oversized. They're very protective. They're articulated, so his arms can move very nicely. And if it weren't for his helm, he wouldn't be running the pauldrons into his helm. So, very nice on that. His helm is the sticking point. It's terrible. Just terrible. The giant wings here are going to get in the way of everything. They're going to catch everything. The mandibles, though they look really cool, are going to get caught on his own armor when he moves his head and things like that. So, take the helm off. I'm going to give on his armor, plus, you know, it's really gorgeous armor when it comes right down to it. The engravings and everything, and these little pieces, the accents of the skulls along the faded red cloth, a nice great cape here with the same sort of things. All in all, I'm going to give Necrit the Great's armor a 4 gourd. It's only the helm that's holding him back. He'd be a 5 gourd if he had a reasonable helm. For weapons, we've got a very nice large shield here, which is effective. He's got it in an interesting grip there. I've seen a few people fight with that, and it's really good for really large shields to essentially plant in the ground and hide behind. You can put a lot of your weight and everything behind such a grip so that people can't force their way through. The aesthetics are wonderful. I love the skulls, the glowing eyes, the flames coming out. Absolutely gorgeous. On the other side here, we've got a nice short spear, much like Aethel had. It's got good points. People won't be able to get at him by forcing their way down the shaft because of the guard here. very nice. A little tip heavy. I would see him using it more on top of his shield to stab at people than I would see him using it any other way. So, all in all, on his weapons, I'm going to give Necrot here a 5-star. Badassitude. What can you say? This guy looks scary as all dickens. I mean, beautifully crafted armor, glowing weapons, flaming headdress. This guy is going to scare anyone across the field from him. Pure and simple. And that's before you take into the fact that he's undead and is probably going to take a beating that any living creature just shouldn't. So, badassitude, I am definitely going to give Necrot here a 5 gourd as well. Overall, I really like Necrot. His style, his functionality, his weapons. If I could take away his helm, there would be no question that he would be a 5 gourd. But that helm is really kicking it for him. It just is terrible. Take off the wings, take off the mandibles. Beautiful. He's got a great helm. So, overall aesthetic on Necrot the Great here, I'm going to give him a 4 gourd. So, that is our beginner's guide on Raid Shadow Legends, as well as a quick aesthetic review of one of the legendaries that it's likely I will never have, sadly. So, if you enjoyed the content, as always, please like, subscribe, and toll that bell. It helps me immensely as we progress here. And I hope everybody has a great day. See you later.